I know someone who has been affected by drugs and alcohol.
I know someone who has been affected by drugs and alcohol.
I know someone who has been affected by drugs and alcohol.
Alcohol has many major effects on an unborn child. However, we all have the potential to prevent these effects with our actions throughout our lives.
This is a community issue because we all have the potential to be exposed to these kids through our work because, well, some of us might be doctors and some of us might be teachers, or if you just want to be blue collar, white collar, you might have to work with somebody in the office or what have you. And we also could be exposed to them because you guys have the potential to create a family. So today we're going to explore the problems with FAS and FAE and possible solutions. Now that you know what our speech is about, this leads us to our first main point that Abby will explain.
Today I'm going to explain to you the effects of the consumption of alcohol while pregnant on the newborn. First, on the brain, and two, on other aspects of the child's life. One of the major effects of fetal alcohol syndrome and fetal alcohol effects is shown in the brain. In an article on AmericanPregnancy.org, it is stated that one of the main alcohol-related birth effects is a malformation of the skeletal system. This means that the brain of the newborn is affected if the fetus is exposed to alcohol. Alcohol consumption can cause the brain to shrink, with scattered holes throughout. These spots missing can cause issues with emotions, impulses, and judgment, along with other things. Now, aside from the brain, there are other symptoms associated with FAS and FAE. These include ones you can see, of course, and ones you cannot see. An article on cdc.gov titled Facts About FASD, which are fetal alcohol spectrum disorders, lists a few symptoms. Some visible symptoms listed are low body weight, hyperactive behavior, small head size, and abnormal facial features. Some non-visible symptoms listed are poor memory, low IQ, vision or hearing problems, and problems with the heart, kidneys, or bones. These lists are actually very short compared to how many symptoms are associated with this disease. Gabby will now go into more depth on the causes and struggles of FAS and FAE and living with these disorders.
For those of you who don't know, FAS is defined as a condition in a child that results from alcohol exposure during the mother's pregnancy. Fetal alcohol syndrome causes brain damage and problems with growth development. They vary from child to child, but as a whole, the symptoms are the same throughout. But sadly, these are irreversible. Fetal FAE is also known as fetal alcohol effects, which is, they derive from the same cause, but it's just a more mild form. The causes of this are very blatant. They stem from the mother consuming alcohol while pregnant. The alcohol causes an abrupt halt in the child's development and causes the side effects that Abby just explained. According to kidshealth.org, there is no safe amount of alcohol to drink during pregnancy. Now, living with it. With all this being said, this doesn't mean that a person with FAS or FAE can't grow into a productive adult. They can still have jobs and they can get married and have kids and have an awesome life. And the thing that most people with FAS need is structured time. So a good source of structured time is school, organized sports, clubs, and just things like to keep them busy throughout the day. Because when they don't have order, they kind of don't know what to do with themselves. In fact, the National Organization of Fetal Alcohol Syndrome's website said, keep your family's routine as consistent as possible. And they just posted that recently in 2016. We did talk about how the symptoms are irreversible, but that doesn't mean that they can't be managed and lowered. A lot of people with FAS are medicated for ADHD, sleeping problems, and anxiety. So even though they don't take away the FAS itself, it can still help bring it down so the person can live easier and function through society. And yeah, and Madison will now tell you about why you should care.
How many of you on having a family someday. So this matters to you. It might not matter now, you think, but it does. Simply educating yourself now on how you can affect it later on is a huge factor in trying to prevent it down the road. We're going to talk to you about how you can help stop someone from consuming alcohol while they're pregnant, but we don't expect you to spend your day 24/7 with these people when they're pregnant, because it is ultimately their decision, but you can affect that decision by simply showing them that you care and supporting their decisions. According to the Centers for Disease Control, roughly 2 to 5% of the population suffers from fetal alcohol syndrome or fetal alcohol effects. This does not seem like much, I know, but it is actually a large portion when you consider it. In the future, it's a different story. Whether it's now or 5 years from now, 10 years from now, most of you said you wanted a family. So it'll matter. Now guys, I'm sure you're like, why does this matter to me? I'm not gonna get pregnant. And there is a 99.99% chance of that. I'm not gonna say 100 because something might happen. There might be a freak out medical incident. I don't know. So it does matter because I can guarantee you will know someone who is pregnant, someone you care about. You can help them decide not to drink later on. Ladies, it is your decision. You're the only ones who can decide not to do this. And it may think now, sure, no big deal. But 9 months is a very, very long time. So having that support from loved ones is going to be huge. And then later in your careers, it's fully acceptable and expected that you will encounter someone who has some kind of mental disorder, whether it's FAS or something else. Learning how to work with these people is the best way that you can help them later on. So today, we've talked about how you can help someone prevent FAS with their children, how you can prevent it with your own, and what causes it, as well as why you should care about it. So you can simply help these people by showing your support and protecting them.